Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. Happy Saturday, happy Valentine's Day. Sorry I'm late. Jackson just got dropped off, so I was settling him in. Jackson's back home. Let me see those, Jackson. Give me that. Hold it with two hands. Be careful. Hold it with two hands. Be careful. Go ahead. Be careful. Thank you. Be careful. Be careful. All right. Jackson gave me these. Jackson came home with these beautiful flowers for Valentine's Day.
May I smell it?
He was so happy to bring his mom. He was so happy to bring his mom some flowers. He was bugging his dad for a long time to buy me flowers. So his dad said he'll buy me them for Valentine's Day. They're so beautiful, aren't they? I have them in the vase here with the little food that they give you or whatever. Yeah, so that was so sweet. He was happy to give me those, right, baby?
Yeah.
You were so happy?
Yeah.
No more treats. No more treats.
Okay.
No more. You hungry?
No.
You can't keep eating treats. You could save some for tomorrow. Yes, thank you. Hey, sis Tinkers. Yeah, they are beautiful. Yeah. That's my sweet boy, the one that's always going to be thinking about me. The one that always thinks about me and wants me to have everything. That's the one. Yeah, he was so happy to give them to me.
Cookies are good.
Hey, Scholar.
We had to make an Oreo rainbow cookie.
Yeah, happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Okay, Jackson, that's it.
We had to make a rainbow one.
Okay, sit down. That's it. All right, pay attention to your thing, and that's it. Yeah, so let's get into it. Yeah, I was showing,
Look, Mommy,
for those of you that just came in, I was showing the beautiful flowers Jackson brought me.
14
So beautiful.
equals 13.
So beautiful.
Right? Right, Mom?
Yes. All right, Tinkers, drive safely. Hey, Free Spirit. Scholar, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, so today, we're going to talk about Jarvis Butts and that he pleaded guilty finally after like 2 years. Crazy. So this is not what I usually bring about celebrity or what I've been bringing lately. This is about a 13-year-old child, Ziyah Harris, who disappeared after getting off her school bus, and the man, Jarvis Butts, who has now pleaded guilty in connection with her death. If you don't know this case, don't worry. I'm going from the beginning to refresh you guys. Last year, I did do a live stream about this case, and it was very wide stream. A lot of, content creators were talking about it. But I'll give a refresher for those of you that don't know about this case. So I'm going to break down what happened and what's happening now. So, do you guys remember this case? Do you know about this case about Ziyah Harris that went missing for a long time, and her family and Jarvis were acting like they didn't know what happened to her? Who remembers this story? Who knows this story? And let me know if this is the first time you're hearing about this story. Yeah, I'm wondering if they gave him one because that's sad. And then are they gonna actually is he actually gonna say where she's at? Because we don't know where she's at. A body was never recovered. Will she finally be able to rest in peace by being found, and putting laid to rest the right way? You know? Yeah, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. So yes, everybody, please hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate everybody that's here. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Yes. So Jarvis Butts has finally pleaded guilty, and I was so happy just because, we've been wanting justice for Ziyah for a long time. That little girl deserves justice. She was a beautiful young girl, that was taken away too soon. So Naziah Harris was a Detroit teen, 13 years old when she went missing. This case shook people because the last moments were so normal. School day over, getting off the bus, and then she's gone. Like literally just gone. You know, as a mom, that's the part that messes with your head. Like, because how many of us let our kids walk from the bus stop? You think it's my neighborhood, it's daylight, it's a routine, and then your child doesn't show up, you know? But the thing is, if you really get into the story, you find out that her family at the end of the day really did know what happened. And that's even more sad. This little girl went through so many things that no young child should go through. She was groomed, by this man. She was groomed, he was a part of that family. He should have been like an uncle to her, and he landed up grooming her, having, relations that no grown man should have with a child, made her feel like he loved her in a different way. It's just really sad, um and then the day she went missing, she went to school, um and then went missing from there, you know so I know a lot of parents let, especially in different states, other than New York, you guys have a designated bus stop that your kids go to. Some of you do let them walk alone, and anything can happen. I mean, but with parents having to work and stuff like that, sometimes that's the only option, is to let your kids walk to the bus stop, walk to and from the bus stop, you know? And I definitely understand, Are there any of you guys that let your kids walk from the bus stop alone? And what age did you start walking home alone? I know I started traveling alone because we had moved, and I still, went to school a little, a few train stops away. So I started going to school on my own. I believe I was like 10 years old. I was like 10 or 11 years old. And yeah, but this is New York, you know. Um, that's not normal. It's normal to start at a young age, especially when you have working parents that work the 9 to 5. When you're on your way to school, they have to be on their way to work, because many New Yorkers work in Manhattan, so they need that hour travel time. you know Hey Jay, hey, stay woke. Welcome in, welcome in. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for passing by. Yeah, yep. Most kids at a certain age, they do wanna, start walking um to school alone. Like when you get to junior high school, I think that's more of a thing that now they want to walk to school by themselves or with a group of kids. I know I always used to walk home or to school with a group of kids. You know, if especially the kids that lived around your neighborhood, you just walk to school together. Yeah. I mean, I know I did. I walked to school with a group of us. Yeah. And usually, and if you have to go to the bus stop, usually it's with a group of your friends or people you know from that school also. But you just never know, unfortunately, what'll happen, like when Ziyah went missing. But in this case, unfortunately, it was somebody close to her, you know, that did what they did. So here's what's been publicly reported. Naziah was last seen after getting off of her school bus near her home, near Cornwall Street and 3 Mile Drive on January 9th, 2024. Well over 2 years already. You know, schools let out, bus stop moment, she doesn't make it home. The most haunting cases are the ones where it's not like she ran away with a suitcase. It's like she vanished in the space between a bus stop and home, you know? But maybe if there was some kind of an adult paying attention, he wouldn't have been able to grab her up, you know? He wouldn't have been able to grab her and do what he did to her, you know. But there's so much to this story that, you know, if you go through everything, we'll be here all night. Like, there's so much to the story. Just, you know, with the aunt involved, and it's just so much. It's just so much. That little girl went through a lot at her young age, you know. So early on, the community and the response on the police response turned into searches, big searches. Like even there was even content creators that created search parties to go over there to where she's from in Detroit and start looking for her. There was a whole bunch of search groups, looking in every nook and cranny around that area. And to this day, her body still hasn't been found. We're talking about areas being checked, people organizing, and law enforcement focusing on places where evidence might be found. And then in March of 2024, Detroit police publicly updated that they were searching the Rouge River area. And the police chief said at that time that it started to look more like a recovery effort, which, after a while, we already knew the inevitable. We already knew what happened, you know? Oh no, you see 6-year-old babies walking alone. Yeah, that's crazy. Like I would never. They're too innocent at that age. They don't know what's going on. And then crossing the street and then no, just no. They could um like jumping into puddles at the the street, the cross street, and God forbid a car come and that's it. Like no, you got to be careful. Hey Stash, thanks for coming through. As soon as they locate her body, Jarvis will be unalived in jail. Who knows? Maybe before then, he just admitted to what he did on Thursday. Who knows? He might be unalive by the next court date, because in prison they don't play that shit, especially with, children. With children, they do not play that. So he's going to be having to watch his back. And no matter what, it's not going to help. So yeah, this story is crazy. Thank you everybody for coming in. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. I am talking about the case of Nazaya Harris. She has been missing for over 2 years. There's been many of search parties. Everybody was wondering, where's Nazaya? Where's Nazaya? What happened to Nazaya? Was her family involved? Jarvis knows what happened. We all knew from when we heard this story that Jarvis knew exactly what happened to her. I definitely know, you know, that I knew that he knew what happened to that poor baby, you know? And then when you find out all the things he did to her, how he groomed her, is just a real sad story. Yeah. So I'm just giving the updates because he finally, after 2 years, admitted his guilt of unaliving Nazaya. Now we're just hoping that he gives her location because till this day, we still don't have her body and we want her body. We want justice for Nazaya.
I hear it to Jordan.
Okay. Yeah, so Jackson had to come in and start talking. But um so yeah. So it definitely was a recovery effort, and unfortunately all the time and effort came up empty. Nothing was found within these 2 years, and people kept looking. If you guys know Michigan, you guys know how they have snowstorms and things like that. So even during those times when there was snowstorms and ice on the floor, there were still people out there looking for Nazaya. That's how many people cared about what happened to her, how they wanted an answer about what happened to her. And it was truly a sad story because it just happened from one day to the next, you know? So, have you guys ever been part of a community search? Do you think the public helps, or do you think sometimes that hurts these investigations? When during the time that it was happening, when people were searching for her, there were so many content creators, spreading the word and going out there and recording as they were searching for her. And there was a lot of people searching for her, and it was so sad.
Look, I'm okay.
Hey Tamixis.
Hey, Tommy, please.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. Oh wow, Tamik, some of the family. This is such a sad story. Yeah. This is a damn sad story. Yeah, Al said, and welcome in, Al. And Al says they have so much tech, it's better to let the law do their thing. Yeah, I agree also because you never know. You might be stepping over some key evidence, and then with so many people, leaving their tracks behind, there might have been some key evidence that now would be hard to find because so many different people walked around the areas. But I really hope that he tells them where she's at. I hope it's somewhere that it can be recovered, because at the time of the search there was also they said that, it's sad to think and to say, but her body might have been burned. So let's hope that wasn't the case, because I really, you know, want the family that actually cared about her, to be, have some kind of comfort, because unfortunately she wasn't, by the people closest to her, she wasn't really cared for. And that's how some of this did happen, because they didn't care about her. Yes, and he is definitely a damn coward. He could have been admitted his guilt a long time ago, taking all this time. What a damn coward, you know? Yeah, stay woke. Yeah. When things like this, especially with a child, people just want to, they get involved and they want to help, you know? They wanted to find this little girl because what happened to her was not okay, you know? So I hope you guys are hitting that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Those of you that don't know me, I am mom of three. Um, I talk about a lot of things and also show, some lifestyle videos. Um, and I welcome you here. Thank you for being here. We're talking about Ziyah Harris, the young girl that went missing. And we all knew we all knew deep down in our hearts the outcome and what happened to her. But the man that was accused and now he admitted to what he did, Jarvis Butts. Um, he literally just admitted it about 2 days ago. So that's what we're talking about. After 2 years, he finally admitted his guilt, which many of us that have been following this case, we already knew that what that coward did, that, you know, child molester did. We already knew. So people always ask, how did it take so long? You know, why did it take so long? Was he really that good at what he does? Has he done this before? Because how was he able to make her go missing without a trace? That 2 years later, still haven't found her. You know, I know missing child investigation involved timelines and interviews, digital trails, and building enough evidence to charge someone. That's why you see cases go from missing person to charges months later. But dang, like I really want to know what he did, like exactly what he did. And I know many of you want to know too. We want justice for Ziyah, and we want her to be able to rest in peace, knowing that everybody finally knows what happened, you know? So TV sometimes makes us, you know, think police get answers in 24 hours or 48 hours like the show. But in real life, it's real slow. It's slower and it's painful, especially for the family, especially for the family that love the child. It's real slow and painful. And, you know, they forever feel like a piece of their heart is missing, especially when they don't know what happened, you know? And it's sad, it's just sad. Yes, thank you. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Please like and subscribe. And yes, if you can, please support the live stream by sending a Cash App. As I am not monetized, my Cash App is on the screen. And yes, he was trifling. them girls out that car wash. I'm very familiar with that car wash. Yeah, wow, that's sad. So imagine how many little girls he's been with. Just imagine how many little girls he's been with. Like, that's so sad, man. And he had access to Nazaya daily, nightly. Like, he did so much to that little girl. He's definitely gonna pay for it, and I know that. And everything I say here is allegedly. It's my opinion. It's for research, entertainment purposes. um yeah, I can't even imagine what that baby went through. It's very traumatizing. Yeah, it definitely is. Very traumatizing, disgusting. you know I hope that everybody in that prison knows what he did, knows what he admitted to doing, and I hope he lives the rest of his days watching his back, you know, or worse. So in September of 2024, the prosecutor's office in Wayne County announced the charges issued in the homicide of Nazaya Harris against Jarvis Butts. They emphasized that her body had not been found, which to this day it still has not been found. By early 2025, the case was moving through court with preliminary exam testimony being reported locally. Charges are not a conviction, but they mean prosecutors believe they had evidence to take it forward. So they did arrest him, charged him formally, and he's been in prison for a while now. And then he started his trial, and now finally admits to his wrongdoing, finally admits to the disgusting act of unaliving Nazaya. You know, when I first heard the charges, I definitely knew that he was gonna be going to trial. But do you guys think that he received a plea deal? That's why he admitted his guilt. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? And what did you guys think when you heard that he finally admitted to what he did? Yep, that's what I said. That aunt too. That aunt deserves to be under the jail as well. She definitely deserves to be under that damn jail. And they might get street justice for her, you know? When I came across, like, I read that he finally admitted, I was like, wow, finally. Like, I thought that he was gonna try to, be a coward forever and just not admit it. Um, but some I don't know, something made him finally admit it. Was it a plea deal? Was it his guilt? Yeah, the aunt and the cousin. Yep. Yep, the aunt and the cousin, and they all knew exactly what was happening. They knew what was happening. They knew exactly what was happening. They knew exactly what happened to that little girl. They didn't love that little girl. They didn't love Nazaya. So Nazaya's aunt, Shannon Harris, testified during court proceedings that were covered publicly, including testimony about what she found after Naziah went missing, reported as inappropriate Instagram related information. You know, family members being discussed doesn't mean they're charged, but we all know that she was, she knew what was happening. She knew, you know. Relatives usually are often witnesses because they're the ones who can speak to what was happening, what they saw, messages found. But she, at the same time, she wasn't being very um honest. She's hiding a lot of things. There's a lot of things I'm pretty sure that she hasn't even said yet, because she's disgusting too. She was hiding his behavior because she wanted him more than he wanted her, and she cared about him more than she cared about Naziah. She was jealous of Naziah. So she hid everything from the authorities, because she was jealous of Naziah. Imagine a adult and somebody that's supposed to be loving to you, your aunt, cared more about a man than about you, a 13-year-old minor child living in her house. Do you guys think that you think she should be charged as well? I know you have to have concrete evidence, and after this long, it's like why wasn't she charged? Like they have to know something. They have to know something. Didn't they pull up like phone messages or things like that to know everybody that was involved? He probably told them if they put them in solitary confinement, he would tell everything. I hope he didn't receive a plea deal. I mean, even if you take a plea deal, doesn't mean that you're not going to be in jail for the rest of your life, you know? Yeah, that is sick to be jealous of a kid, right? A grown woman, your aunt, being jealous of you. Lynn granddaughter went to school with her. They was friends. Oh no. The aunt and cousin is trifling. The mammy too. The whole family trash. Yeah, obviously, because look where she landed up. Nobody caring about her, choosing men over her, you know? Sorry, sirens. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It looks like the whole family is trash from what I see, from everything that occurred, from everything we heard. You know, damn sad. And another thing that comes up in a lot of child cases is the person is often not just a random stranger. It's frequently someone with access or proximity like he had. They were in the same household, you know? And instead of looking at the aunt in a, in that kind of way, he was looking at her in that kind of way. This innocent little girl, you know, and he was looking at her in that kind of way, groomed her, made her think that he loved her and cared for her, you know, just sad. That really makes parents like me feel sick, you know, because stranger danger is only part of it. But when it's somebody so close to your family, it's a different story. And when you are a part of a family, you don't want to have to worry about someone so close, you know, doing anything like that to your child. But an incident like this and so many others makes you realize that you have to watch everybody, whether it's an aunt, an uncle, a brother, a grandfather, a father. You just never know. And you have to watch your kids. You have to watch for the red flags. You have to watch for certain touches. You have to watch certain looks. If a person, even, it's sad, but even a person gets up late at night, you better pay attention and get up yourself, because you just never know. And although it's not good to have to live like that, it's better safe than sorry. You know, I rather prevent something like that happening than being oblivious to it, thinking it can't happen. You know, especially when there's so many children in your household, you just never know. You know, and I'm sure they knew that this guy had it in him to do things like he did, you know? Meet For those of you that don't know, he used to meet her late at night. He used to, do things with her, make her feel she loved him. I mean, he loved her, you know? Is just really sad. They used to sneak together when the aunt was supposedly asleep. So who knows if she was really asleep, Because I feel like the aunt hated her so much that she probably knew exactly what was happening. And instead of losing him, she chose to just let it happen so she wouldn't lose him, which is sad. No, hold on. Hold on. Sorry, guys. He's trying to eat all the darn snacks, all the Valentine snacks, because he got snacks from school. And so he's trying to eat them all in one day. You know how these kids are. So, yeah. So, I definitely think the aunt is a piece of shit. She knows exactly what was happening, and he deserves everything that's coming to him, And I hope that even though it's been a while, I hope, some charges come down on the aunt too, because she definitely know everything that was freaking happening, you know? So fast forward to now, February 2026, local outlets reported that Jarvis Butts finally pleaded guilty in the case of Ziyah Harris, along excuse me, along with guilty pleas connected to other sexual assault cases involving minors. He is a piece of crap. So CBS Detroit reported sentencing is scheduled for March 12th. So March 12th, we will finally know the outcome and we will finally know how long he is sentenced for. And I know for a fact that it better be longer than 10 years. It better be. It better be, you know? So, yes, this is why people are saying he admitted what we all knew, because we knew. Those of us that knew, once we heard the story, how she went missing, not being able to find her. Then we found out about that car wash and just everything about him. We already knew that he was guilty, and we knew that those other family members knew something about it. I don't know how messages haven't been found or anything like that, because I know they had to communicate, but this guilty plea is not just an internet rumor. It's a court action. It happened. And now he will finally be sentenced. You know? And this is just really, you know, it's really sad. And then the brother had tried to say that he knew exactly what happened. And the brother was trying to say it wasn't him. So we already know that whatever he said is not accurate, that he was lying. So that piece of crap is finally gonna get what he deserves. So after entering the guilty plea, the next formal step in the criminal process is sentencing. So in the Jarvis Butt case, his sentencing, like I said, is March 12th, where a judge will impose his official prison sentence for the charges to which he pleaded guilty. So sentencing is usually a separate hearing from the guilty plea itself. It's the moment the judge decides exactly how long the defendant will serve under the plea agreement. Oh, what a sad story, you know? So those of you that don't know, Jarvis Butts pleaded guilty to the murder of 13-year-old Ziyah Harris and related charges in multiple cases involving minors. Prosecutors and defense attorneys worked out a plea agreement that outlines the sentencing terms for each charge. As part of the plea deal, some additional charges in those cases were dismissed, and specific sentences are tied to each count. So, a plea agreement includes the sentencing ranges and how the judge may order them to run, like concurrent versus consecutive. And in this case, many of the agreed sentence terms are planned to run concurrently, meaning he's serving them at the same time rather back to back. So I hope the judge does not let us down. I hope, Nazaya actually, gets justice. I mean, I guess this is some form of justice because we know that he's going to do some time, but is it going to be enough time? Is it going to be for the rest of his life? Because if it's not, then it's not enough. $35 to $60. Well, I hope he doesn't get the minimum, because he'll still come out at what, like 70, 75 years old, and still be able to do things, because at that age you could still do things. They find the messages between them. So at the sentencing hearing, the defense attorney may argue for leniency. Sorry, guys. Saturday night in New York City. Hey, Terry. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe. If you would like to donate to the channel, please do so. Any donations are greatly appreciated. You can send them to the Cash App on the screen. So, of course, they're going to argue for leniency. Prosecutors may argue for a harsher sentence within the agreed range. So, the longer of the years, hopefully, the victim's family members and loved ones can make impact statements, or can give impact statements, which I wonder if there's anyone that truly, truly cared about her, because what we've seen, the people's closest to her are pieces of shit. So I would like to see if any family members are gonna come and talk and give their impact statements. The judge listens to these, and then he'll impose the sentence. In Michigan, as in many states, a judge must confirm that the plea was entered knowingly and voluntarily before finalizing sentence. But that step already happened at the plea hearing. Yeah. So before sentencing, the court also will usually order a pre-sentence investigation, sometimes called a pre-sentence report. This is prepared by probation officers or court staff, and includes detailed background on the defendant, criminal history, social history, statements from the victim's family, and recommendations for sentencing. Then the judges use this report to inform their final sentencing decision. But on March 12th, we'll definitely be tuned in to see what happens. I really hope that he gets the higher end of the plea deal. He deserves all those years without what is it, and not be able to come out until he gets all the serves all the years. He's an ass. He's disgusting to do this to a 13-year-old child, an innocent child. No matter how old, how these young teens try to act old, they're not. And to see them anything other than a child is disgusting. Disgusting. So those of you in a relationship with these men that, please don't care for these men more than you care for your children, more than you care for, your nieces, your nephews, whatever it may be. You have to pay attention to prevent things like this from happening. Make sure that you guys share your location, that your kids are sharing your locations with you, so just in case something happens. Check their devices frequently, even if it starts an argument. Remember that you're not their friend, you're their parent. So if they want to give you the silent treatment, oh well. as long as you know what's happening with them, and also talk with them and let them know that you're there for them, regardless if anything they might do or say, disappoints you. Let them know that you could overcome the disappointment and that they could come and talk to you at any time, because that's very important. That yes, you're not their friend, but you do want them to feel comfortable enough to talk to you about anything, everything, no matter what, you know? A lot of the miscommunication happens when kids think that that they know you're gonna be mad at them, but they have to understand that it's more than just being mad, and that no matter what, you love them and that you want to be there for them regardless, and that you're gonna be there to help them. Yes, Tinkers, without parole. That is the exact that's what I was looking for. He needs to do his time and without being able to go up for parole in a few years. Yes, without parole. Yep. Tamik says she wants to see who comes and talks to. Yep. Yeah, I hope he gets that higher range and. Hey, Sarah. You hate St. Louis? Yeah, it's just we got to pay attention to our kids, because a lot of these kids, eh, things that happen to them could be prevented. And we have to teach them that a lot of older adults, or adults period, have that many of them have that gift of gab, and they definitely will talk you into the sheets, and we have to let them know that they're better than that, to never let an adult try to talk them into the sheets, because that is not okay. you know these children are children no matter what, and just because adult makes you feel like you're grown, they're not grown, and they need to know that, that that's disgusting, that that's illegal, that that's not okay. So, a lot of parents try to be more friends than anything and try not to be strict with their kids and things like that. But we have to remember that they're not our friends. So if they want to be mad at us for us caring and doing the right thing, oh well. Like I tell my kid, when he gets mad at me, like my kid Jordan, Jediah, he already learned that. He was like, oh, you were right all along. And I'm like, I know I was right. What you think? I was just wasting my breath? Like, no, sometimes we have to give them tough love, because they got to learn one way or another. And sometimes Jordan will be mad at me because of what I tell him. And I'm like, that's my job as a mother. I have to tell you these things, whether you like hearing it from me or not. I have to tell you how to do things and how things go, you know? And he could be mad at me or whatever, but guess what? They get over it. It might bother you that they give you the silent treatment or whatever, but you're their parent. They're going to talk to you again. Just give them a little time. Sometimes you need the time too, You don't want to be mad all the time. A little silent treatment ain't going to hurt nobody. you know but I definitely rather be too strict than standing on TV, begging people to help me find my child. you know yeah. definitely need to look after our foster children properly. They need frequent check-ins. Yeah, definitely. Especially if there's like multiple calls to the house and stuff like that. That's where a lot of these agencies drop the ball, because they think just because your fridge is full, or that there's clothes on the children's back, that's okay. They need to look like over that, because that's not everything. you know they need to look for the signs that the child's scared to talk, or when the foster parent or parent goes up to the child, how they react. You can't see, if you know how to read these kids, you can tell when something's wrong, or when they're scared, or things like that. And having a full fridge doesn't mean that those kids are okay. Definitely not. Your daughter can only ask her dad for money or anything. Those are the rules. Yep. Because then that's another way that these men try to get into their minds, with money, you know? And then they might think that it's okay to do certain acts with these men because they are taking care of them, you know? Or then the men say, "Oh, I'm giving you this, so can you do this for me?" You know? And it's not okay. And Ziyah Harris definitely, unfortunately, went through a lot in her 13 years of life. Her mom didn't want her. Her aunt didn't want her. Nobody wanted her. So she was looking for love in all the wrong places, like many of these children do. You know, many of these children, that's what ends up happening. They search for love and keep searching for love. And then the first person that shows them what they think is love, a little or attention, tells them they're beautiful, because she was a beautiful girl. He wasn't lying when he told her she was beautiful. She was a beautiful young girl, you know, but that's how they get you. They try to reel you in, by telling you you're beautiful, giving you money, buying you little gifts here and there, because your real family doesn't do it. So then they start doing it because they just want one thing, and she must have started opening her mouth, and he got scared, and then he did what he did, you know? And we don't even know. And that's the sad thing, that I can't even like say what he did, because we don't even know what he did exactly yet, because she hasn't been found. you know did she suffer? Was it fast? Is her body gonna be recovered? These are all still unanswered questions, and it's just really sad. So I really hope that she gets justice, that her body is found, and I hope he gets everything he deserves, every bit of that time. And he needs to serve every minute of it. Hopefully, he never sees, the regular outside ever again. You know, I would love for him to be locked up for 23 hours a day, if not 24 hours, 23 hours a day, because Nazaya doesn't get to live her life. You know, she didn't get to graduate. She didn't get to graduate junior high school. She didn't get to graduate high school. She would never see prom. She would never see, Spirit Week. So she never be a cheerleader. She would never get married. she would never know real love because that disgusting man took her away too soon. So I want to end with this. Ziyah Harris was 13, you know, that matters. She deserved to grow up and she deserves justice. So, justice for Ziyah. If you're here watching this live, let's drop some purple hearts in the chat for her. Purple hearts for Ziyah. If you're watching the replay, comment below what exactly stood out about this case. Drop some purple hearts for Ziyah when you watch this on the replay as well. And please like this live so more people see it. Subscribe if you're new. If you can donate to my channel, please do so. All donations are very much appreciated. And let's, just continue to pray for Ziyah's peace and that she's able to rest in peace and that Jarvis gets the maximum. We want him to get the maximum time. And thank you for, keeping the conversation respectful. Thanks everybody that's, watching. Thank you everybody that's always supporting me. I appreciate you more than you know. And I'll definitely be giving update once March 12th comes because I know we all want to know what his sentence is going to be. And I'm here for it, and I will be updating you all. Thank you. Thank you for dropping all those purple hearts. Thank you. Yes. Justice for Ziyah. So thank you guys so much and happy Saturday. Happy Love Day. I hope you guys are enjoying your family. And thank you for being here. Till the next one.